Hey guys, Josh from BoxCast here, and today we're going to quickly show you how we produce a graduation live stream. Let's take a look. So today we're doing a little bit more of an advanced setup. Now, just so you know, you can do this with a single camera and a clean audio output, but we're going to try to take it to the next level a little bit. So let's talk about what we're shooting today. We have 3 professional video cameras set up, and we're switching between all 3 using a video switcher. So the 3 angles we're using today, we have a wide shot on the floor. We have 2 cameras up here, so we don't have anybody getting in the way of our view. One of those is a close-up, and one of those we use to actually just roam around the room, follow people walking across the stage, and any other action that's happening in the graduation. The camcorder that we're using to follow people around the room is a Sony NX5R. The reason we like using this is because it's got an insane zoom range on it. You can get really close to your subjects from really far away in a room. We've also got a zoom controller attached to this camera so that when Wade is following people around the room, he can easily use the toggle to zoom in and out instead of having to shake the camera. So the other camera we have on the floor is also a static shot. It's a nice wide angle that shows the crowd and kind of makes you feel like you're sitting in the back of the room. On top of this camera, we just have a basic shotgun microphone. I like to take the audio from the shotgun mic because it gives you all that energy that people have when they see their kid walking across the stage. You can incorporate that to the live stream and make it feel a little more real. So 2 of the camcorders we're using are the exact same make and model, and the other one, it's a cinema camera. Now, a lot of people ask us, well, can you get the colors to match that way? You're never gonna get it down to an exact science, but luckily on Blackmagic Cinema camera, you can adjust white balance and your tint to get it pretty close to what Sony cameras look like. It's never gonna be perfect, but to the viewer, they're never gonna know the difference. People ask us all the time, should I use HDMI? Should I use SDI? Sometimes we use both. The advantage of using SDI video connections are 1, that they lock in, and 2, that they can run over longer distances. Our 2 camcorders today are connected via SDI. Now our Blackmagic Cinema camera is HDMI out only, and that's okay. We can convert it to SDI if we need to make it a longer run. Today we're actually using a mini decimator to convert it to SDI to go into the switcher. So ideally with like a 3 camera shoot, you would be able to have multiple camera operators, 1 camera operator per camera. You don't always have the resources to do that though. So in this scenario, to save time and money, we've had 2 cameras set up right next to each other. So when Wade's operating one, he can make adjustments to the other as well if we need them to. It's also just easier to run cabling all to the same spot and have cameras closer to each other in this scenario. But you can still get very different looks out of these. With this particular setup, it's nice because Wade can not only control both cameras from here, we've actually given him a monitor with the live stream output. So not only do I get to talk to him on Intercom and tell him when to move angles and when he's live, but he can just see it for himself. It's kind of like giving your camera operator a literal tally light.
Tally lights serve 2 purposes. The first is to make it obvious which camera is live for the on-camera talent, and the second is to keep the camera operator aware of his camera's status.
So something that's actually a little less popular to talk about, but still very important, are tripods. Tripods can come in all shapes and sizes and price ranges, of course. You could spend $100 on a tripod, you could spend $1,000 on a tripod. But what's really important when it comes to live streaming is whether the camera's moving or not. So when it comes to today, we have a camera that we want to be able to pan and zoom around. That's where we put our best tripod. Then when Wade's panning across the stage or following somebody getting their diploma, he doesn't have to worry about the camera shaking or jittery movements. Bottom line, it's better to invest in a fluid head tripod when you're doing live events with movement. So here's where I get to hang out at the live stream, at the production table. The 2 biggest things we have at the table are our video switcher and our live streaming encoder. But let me give you an overview of everything else. Obviously we have a program monitor here, and you can see all 3 camera angles along with a standby graphic that I like to have handy because during live events, you never know what's gonna happen. Our Blackmagic A10 TV studio is the switcher we're using today, and we love it because not only can we control it on the hardware, but we can control it on the software as well. It's got 4 HDMI inputs, it's got 4 SDI inputs, and it attaches really nicely to our video recorder. A video recorder is just as important to have as a live streaming encoder in case anything crazy happens with the network, something catastrophic, your stream falls apart. and you need a backup recording. I always just recommend having a recording of your program feed. Let's do a little bit of a breakdown of how we produce audio for this. Now, usually with a live stream, you get a dedicated sound person controlling audio in the room, but they may not necessarily be focused on the live stream audio. So I like to have a mixer right here next to me so I can control all the levels of the mic inputs, and I can create a different mix for the live stream audience. This allows you to hear different things like clapping sounds, music in a different way, vocals in a different way, that people may not necessarily want to hear in the room. And here is a real hot tip. I like to take a lavalier and put it on a podium microphone or any other microphone source that you might need as a backup. Today with the stream, we did run into issues with the house audio, and luckily we had our lavalier microphone right next to the podium mic, and it sounded super crisp, super clear, and it saved us. The most important thing on this table, because nothing goes live without it, is our BoxCaster Pro. It's plugged in via SDI from our video recorder, which has embedded audio. It can do HDMI, but why not? SDI, safety first, let's do it. On the other side of the BoxCaster Pro, there's a hardline internet connection. Always recommend doing hardline if you can. Another quick tip when it comes to internet, always test ahead of time, even if you can the day before the event. It's really important that your internet connection stays solid throughout your live stream. We've actually been streaming graduations at this location for the past 5 years, and it would be normal for us to assume the network has always stayed the same. We came out to test the network connection the day before and coordinated with their IT team to make sure everything was copacetic. When we showed up, we realized there were some issues, a switch had been blown, and luckily they were there to help us resolve it. Coordinating with an IT team, testing the live stream the day before, making sure you have a solid hardline connection. These are all things that are super important so that the day of, you don't have to think about the internet. Not everybody is going to go this step, but this event for us is pretty mission critical. So we like to have a cellular modem backed up just in case the entire network at the venue goes down. That's a situation where most people in the room won't know what's happening, but we'll know for the live stream and the viewers at home will know. In that case, it's easier for us to be able to just take something like this and plug it directly into our BoxCaster Pro when that happens, and we can get the stream back up and running. Not only is it a great backup option for your live stream, but it's also just nice to have an extra internet connection at the table so you can send an email or text your mom. So even though I only have Wade as my camera operator today and nobody else, it can still be really frustrating during a live event not to be able to communicate. Hand signals, baseball things, those don't really work very well. I don't want to pat my head twice and have to poke my nose just to get them to pan the camera left. It's really nice to have a good intercom system to communicate with your team. Sometimes they can be cost prohibitive. If you don't have the money for a full intercom system, it's okay. Jump on your phone and at least try AirPods, but at least you can talk to each other about what's going on during the event. We're using Hollywood's wireless intercom system, which allows me as a director to talk to up to 4 different people on the production. It's all wireless, there's 1,000 feet of range, and we've never had any dropouts. And the audio quality is not even that bad. Last thing you want to have, especially for a really long event like this, coffee. Our BoxCaster Pro is pushing 18 megabits per second HEVC of crispy clean streaming to the BoxCast streaming service. What that allows us to do from there is give the client an embed code that they can paste directly onto their website for all viewers to see. We also give them a backup link that they can share via email. They're not doing it today, but they have the option to go to Facebook, YouTube, or any other RTMP destination as well. I'm sure you all have a lot of questions about gear, and while I may not get to everything today, you can check in the description for a link where you can find all of the products that we're using. And we've even created a workflow diagram that you can take a look at to see our cable runs, our production equipment, and where everything's positioned. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch today. We hope you learned something about our setup. If this video seemed a little scattered, it's because we're getting started in 10 minutes. I gotta go, but if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching and happy streaming.